I never thought in a million years that I would actually regret voting for Donald Trump. Listen to this, you guys. My job has been frozen. Okay, I was one of the top researchers in my department. And, I never thought the day would come when an unelected person like Musk would start digging into where everyone's tax dollars are going. I thought my job was safe, okay? Now, because of Donald Trump and Elon Musk, how are we ever going to find out if cats really hate dogs and dogs really hate cats? I mean, we were making groundbreaking work, okay? And we were on the cusp of discovering that felines and canines really do, at their core, hate each other.
Okay, here's the deal. I have been MAGA. I have been full-on MAGA. I supported the tariffs. I was all behind. I was supportive of the immigration actions, all that stuff. Okay, but I have principles. I'm just. I don't think I can't do it anymore. I can't continue with the stuff that's breaking tonight. I can't. You got to have a line. You got to have some kind of humanity. You got to stand for the principles that our country was built on. Okay, so I think I'm done. I can't stand with the guy anymore. If these reports are true, and it hasn't hit mainstream media yet, but I'm sure it's going to, because if it's true that Donald Trump likes pineapple on his pizza, I'm done, man.
Welcome to this next episode of One Man Podcast, where we talk about the Trump supporters being regretful after voting, and then now they have to face the consequences of their actions. So the first two clips were a bit of a comic, but the others are the people are really facing, are telling the truth and facing the issues. Stay tuned, and then at the end of it, I'll come and give a bit of a summary. Thank you.
Hold on, what did you just say about Trump?
I said, Trump's a fucking liar. Inflation's going up. Gas prices hasn't really come down that much. Eggs, that's the funny one. The eggs. I'm mad. And I'm a mega man. Okay? I don't see anything he's done.
So is it safe to say that the illusion has faded?
I think it has, yes. I was for him because, everything he said. He played right into my hands. He just told us everything we wanted to hear. That's what he did. I can't even stand to look at him because, he's just he's a con. He's a flat ass, nothing but a fucking con. They all the right side, they say, oh yeah, the Biden side was so bad. Well, what's so good about the right side? He brags about doing something with our economy, but I haven't seen anything happen yet.
Let me get this shit right. Mega! You're burning your merch over this bullshit with Trump? You're not fucking satisfied about how you're being fucking treated? You're not satisfied that the motherfucker lied to you? You're not satisfied that you're low fucking IQ? You're not satisfied that you're fucking stupid? Well, I wouldn't be either. No one gives a fuck that you're having a temper tantrum. You think we give a fuck that you're upset? Stay the fuck upset, but stay on the motherfucking case. We're not letting the fuck up on Mega until you motherfuckers do something actionable. Getting fucking upset ain't fucking cutting it. Show us how motherfucking determined y'all are to see that these motherfucking tapes are fucking released to the public. So y'all can keep burning your fucking hats, burning your fucking shirts. You burn your fucking ass. Nobody gives a fuck. Until these motherfucking tapes are released, motherfuckers, y'all have no fucking credibility.
Congratulations, MAGA. Your vote for Trump is the reason why senior citizens will be kicked out of their nursing homes. Before you flood my comment section screaming fake news, I'm going to provide some verifiable facts. Google's free. You can go look at the bill. 60% of nursing home residents rely on Medicaid to cover their care. That is a fact. And Trump's new tax plan, it cuts their provider tax by 41%. This slashes how much support states receive from the government for nursing homes. That's a 41% funding cut. That is a fact. The American Healthcare Association says that 1 in 4 nursing homes could shut down and half of their staff will be eliminated. That's a fact. So where do these senior citizens go? Some might have family to take them in, but for others, this is the end of the road.
I'm going to say the meanest thing I could possibly say to these Trump voters posting self-pity videos because they're suffering due to his policies. Now, I don't do personal attacks, so I'm just going to tell you the truth, because sometimes the truth hurts. You don't get to complain. You definitely don't get to complain about the lack of leadership or ideas coming from Democrats, because we didn't do this to us. You did this to us. If you and I are driving down the interstate together and you reach over and grab the wheel, and you steer us into a 200-foot deep ravine full of lava and sharks because you think big interstate is corrupt and you thought it would be funny to shake things up, when I scream at you as lava sharks eat our legs, you don't get to be mad at me for being mad at you, because it was my idea to stay on the interstate, and it was your idea that ruined everything for both of us.
I didn't know that he was going to take my husband's tractors away. Also, I did not know that it was going to mean that my little boy was not going to be able to go to Head Start no more. And then I did not know that we was going to be out all of the cashes from the food stuff. I did not know we was going to be losing that money, okay? We need it. And then I heard that they was going to mess with Papa's Social Security. And this is just a little bit more than we can stomach around here, if you know what I mean. So I don't know who we need to call to fix this. We need to call somebody and talk to the manager.
What do you love about Donald Trump?
I love the man. He's a real man, and I've been to 5 Trump rallies, and it just doesn't. We need him. This country needs him.
For what specifically? Like, what's the one thing when you say we need Donald Trump? What's the thing
He's an excellent leader. He made lots of changes that really got our country moving, and these Democrats are ruining our country. They're just hell-bent on turning this country into a communist country, and they're going to try socialism first, then it'll go to communism, and we can't have that.
Where do you see that you're talking about evidenced in the last few years?
Trying to go to socialism? Well, let me think about that, because there's lots of things, but
I did vote for Trump, and now I will deal with the aftermath of the tariffs. I compared 2024 first quarter to 2025 first quarter. I am down 70%. I'm not willing to say that that's due to the decisions of the administration yet, because my business does run in cycles. When it comes to the items that I import directly from China, like the pens, pencils, coffee mugs, keychains, calculators, that's all been affected immediately. I also had a quote for rubber ducks that I was working on, 5,000 rubber ducks. And my unit cost went from below 30 cents to just below 50 cents overnight. Consequently, that order of ducks is on hold. I also have 10,000 poker chips on hold. I have 2,000 hats on hold. This is all merchandise I could be selling right now. Yes, I do have some investments that are down, which is affecting me on the personal side. Now we're not sure which direction we want to go.
You fucked around with your vote, now it's time you found out. Am I the asshole for cutting off my sons financially after they voted for Trump? I, 52 male, have 2 sons, Isaac, 22 male, and John, 20 male. My wife and I have always leaned left politically, and we've raised our kids to value equality, compassion, and critical thinking. We've had countless family discussions about politics and the impact of policies on people's lives. So you can imagine my shock when I found out after this last election that both of my sons voted for Trump. It came out during a casual family dinner when I asked, "So, who'd you guys vote for?" expecting them to either dodge the question or name one of the candidates aligned with our values. Isaac shrugged and said, "Trump. His policies just make the most sense right now." John chimed in, "Yeah, I mean, he's about protecting the economy. People like us need someone who gets that." I stared at them, stunned. "People like us?" I asked. "Boy, you've never paid for a single tank of gas, let alone rent or tuition. What exactly do you mean by that?" Isaac rolled his eyes. "Dad, I'm studying business. Trump's pro-business. It's not that deep." "It's plenty deep," I snapped. "You're backing someone who's gutted protections for the environment, undermined health care, and actively targeted marginalized communities." John shook his head. "You're just looking at the negatives. He's strong on immigration and keeping jobs here." The conversation spiraled into a heated debate. I couldn't understand how they, having grown up with every advantage I could provide, could support someone who champions policies that harm so many people. That night I thought about how much my wife and I had sacrificed to give them opportunities. I worked extra hours to cover their tuition so they wouldn't have student loans. I paid for their gas, car insurance, and even groceries. And this is what they choose to do with that privilege? A few days later, I told them my decision. "If you want to support Trump's policies, you should also live by them," I said. "From now on, you'll need to cover your own tuition, rent, and living expenses. Maybe then you'll understand the real-world impact of the policies you are endorsing."
Lloyd, what's the message?
Jesus died on that cross so we could live, and this is not living.
Amen. I respect that.
The jokes really do write themselves, because 3 days ago, did I not just say this in my video? Many Americans who voted for the talking orange believe that rules for thee and not for me is how things are going to play out, and it's just not. There are many Americans who are waking up to find out that their lives are going to be impacted by this. Many of them are effing around and finding out the hard way. And now look at the Republicans, effing around and finding out.
I'm Hispanic and I vote for Mr. Trump. We vote for Mr. Trump. Yes, Mr. Trump. We love you. We love you. On the way to the White House.
Beyond betrayed. They used us. They actually, during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that he was not going to touch the documented people.
So I admit, I regret my vote for Donald Trump. I regret it because I needed these changes sooner. I needed the prices to go down sooner so that I didn't drain out my bank accounts and go into crippling credit card debt.
All right, you shady motherfucker, listen up and listen good. I voted for you because of your no tax on overtime bill, amongst other things. But here's the deal. I just read your great big beautiful bill, and it's bullshit.
As easy as it would be for me to say that I wasn't thinking when I voted or that I don't watch the news, I had to ask myself the same question that hundreds of you are asking me, is why did I vote the way I did? I've spent the last few days reflecting, and I feel like I came through some sort of revelation.
You know why we voted for Donald Trump? Because the middle class man finally thought he was going to get ahead in life. You said no taxes on overtime. Big, bold, beautiful letters. We thought, hell yeah, why would we not vote for that? Then you turn around and pass the bill and it's a crock of shit. It's a tax credit for the people that make a certain amount of money. Of course, when you put it in big, bold, beautiful letters, it looks great. We're going to vote for you. And you knew what you were doing. You were baiting people in saying, no taxes on overtime. You didn't give no fucking details. Your details that we read.
All I can say, I was a dumbass, voted for Trump only because of my beliefs. People around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes. But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going on. It was the worst decision I ever made. I wanted not to vote.
I was a
I was a MAGA junkie.
A MAGA junkie who thought her government job would be safe with Donald Trump in office. She was wrong.
I cried. It's scary, you know, it's a really scary thing, and I was embarrassed. He's a good boy.
Higgett was abruptly fired last month from the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service, based here in Parkersburg, West Virginia. The reason given for the firings of 125 probationary employees at the Bureau? Poor performance. If you could say anything to President Trump now, what would you say?
I expected better from you. I really did. I expected that you would do what was right and cut waste and fraud and all of those things that you promised us before we elected you in office, but you're not doing that. You're creating a disaster, and I don't know what America's going to look like if this continues.
I know you told me you voted for President Trump. What were you hoping that he would do?
I was hoping he would did something that made sense regarding the economy, made some kind of progress in bettering, you know, the benefits of being a veteran. But I mean, it just seemed like he actually cared about doing what was best for the country. But now it just feels like all about me, Donald Trump, not, you know, the guy out there working in the trenches trying to make ends meet, trying to pay the mortgage, trying to pay the bills. You know, it goes against everything I expected when, you know, I voted for him.
I just need someone to explain something to me. I live in Alabama, and my utility bill usually averages between $200 and $250 a month. Can someone please explain to me how my utility bill went from $250 a month to $696 this month? Could someone just please explain that to me? I know it was cold last month, but $696? Explain.
Why the fuck did some lady just tell me that I was being hateful for saying that I hope she got what she voted for? You said you voted for him for his policies. Why is it hateful for me to say I hope you get what you voted for?
I'm really starting to regret my vote. Don't pretend you didn't know it was going to go like this. Everyone knew. Wasn't expecting him to be anti-cancer funding. This is the exact same party who campaigned on defunding the Department of Education. This is the exact same party who year after year after year refuses to fund free school lunches for children. This is the exact same party who voted against removing BPAs, a known carcinogenic, out of baby bottles. And you are surprised that they're against funding cancer research? I mean, it's the Republicans. They're trying to actively get rid of the polio vaccine.
If you voted for Donald Trump, that means that you stand for everything that is going on in our country right now. That you stand for all these tariffs. That you stand for this mass deportation. That you stand for getting men out of women's sports. I mean, the list goes on and on. You actually stand for this. If you voted for Trump, you actually stand for this. And if you voted for Trump, I just want to say that I love you and thank you so much for saving this country. Have a blessed day.
I'm voting for Trump because he's going to implement tariffs and make China pay for them. All right, Google, what are tariffs? Tariffs are a tax on imported goods. The cost is passed on to the consumer. I don't need cheaper products. I just want cheaper gas. The tariffs Trump is threatening Canada with might increase the price of gas. You know what? I don't need cheaper gas either. I'm not voting for Kamala. She's going to start World War III. Trump wants to make Canada the 51st state. And he wants to invade Mexico and Greenland and take back the Panama Canal. You know, a little bloodshed to expand the empire is a worthy sacrifice.
So are you still blaming immigrants for your unemployment, or are you ready to admit you're just a loser? How's that Mexican beer treating you? Tastes like freedom, right? Wait. Name 5 NCAA female athletes. I'll wait. Is it exhausting keeping up with the doublethink? Wait, do you even know what that means? Oh, okay, you did your own research. So where'd you publish it? And Facebook does not count. Let's play Never Have I Ever, but only drink if you haven't done it, because I know you don't hold your alcohol very well. Here, take that. No, just take yours. Okay, ready? Never have I ever defended a Nazi salute. Never have I ever voted against human rights. Never have I ever supported genocide. Oh my God, no. We are not coming with you to church on Easter. You just want a picture so that you can post it on Facebook and look like you're a good Christian. Meanwhile, the rest of your fucking timeline looks like you would have been one of the ones chanting for his crucifixion.
But I understand that it's not a natural act for us to admit that we believed lies and that we acted upon them and that we allowed those lies to shape our being and our personhood and our identity.
I am here to just give some genuine advice. When you are attempting to be accountable about this topic, saying that you've come around and see the light, kudos by the way, I recommend not going with the "we have been lied to" argument. Were some lies told? Sure, absolutely, Fox News lies all the time. But he told you everything he was going to do. Going after veterans benefits, Medicaid, Medicare, doing tariffs, getting rid of FEMA, NOAA. They said this, and you still voted for it anyway. My guess is that many of you are seeing the light because something has now directly impacted you. So when you're making those videos, you need to focus on taking accountability for the fact that back in November, you weren't thinking about how any of what he said he was going to do would affect other people. We made our decision in November based on how everything that was said was going to affect everybody. And taking that accountability and looking as to why the well-being of others didn't really matter back in November is going to be hard. If you are truly seeing the light and the error in your ways, that is a necessary thing you have to do. Because if you're not, that is showing clear as day that you are only coming and seeing the light because now something negative is directly impacting you. And that doesn't put us on the same side. I made the decision I made back in November because I care about what happens to you. But you still had all the information presented to you and you said, yeah, I'm cool with this. You can't even say, well, they lied. They told us tariffs will be good for the country because Google is free. I didn't know everything that came along with tariffs, so I looked it up on an educational website and within 5 minutes went, ho, this is not good for us. But the information was there. I am glad that these videos are being made. I am glad that you are seeing the light. Please, I do not advise you to say, it wasn't our fault, we were lied to. It's not true, and you're not going to get the reaction you want. You have to do the work.
Well, as you have heard from the clips, most of the Trump supporters are, are in regret because now the consequences are there with them, but they have to face the consequences. They didn't think about it when they were voting. Some of them voted along racial lines. Some of them voted on one issue and not the whole picture. And now they're facing the consequences. So I think now there's nothing they can do because now Trump is doing whatever he said he's going to do. And the funny thing is that most of the things that he said he's going to do, he's doing them right as at now. He's still doing them. But now the consequences are facing everybody. So I don't know what they are going to do, but I think it is just a wake-up call. Whenever you do something, you should be very cognizant of the fact that it might come to bite you later on. So if you decide to make a certain choice, you should bear the consequences. Even though they might be harsh, you should decide and bear the consequences. Yeah. Thank you for listening. This is my 5th episode. Looking forward to seeing you in my next episode. Like and share if you like, share and subscribe. And see you in the next episode. Thank you.